afternoon. Hello and welcome to this Monday's edition of Markets at Noon. I'm Nantara Rai in New Delhi. Pankaj Pudar joining in the Mumbai studio. And at the bottom of your screens is important information that is coming in from the Supreme Court, a crucial hearing with major ramifications for Tata Power as well as Adani Power. Look at that, Tata Power now up by $5 a share. That's about 7%. The Supreme Court asking the CERC to look into power tariff revision. So therefore ordering the CERC to once again look at this entire issue. Remember, Adani Power and Tata Power have been saying since coal is getting more expensive, they are in no condition to absorb the cost. I believe Vivek Iyer will be joining us to talk more about this. In fact, we understand the CERC has been told to look into this compensatory tariff case and revise the power purchase agreements within 8 weeks. Is Vivek Iyer with us?
Well, that's right. Nantara, to simplify this as much as possible, remember, just to give a little bit of background, both Tata Power as well as Adani Power actually have power operations from Mundra, for which, the earlier agreement that was signed, or the earlier PPA, the power purchase agreement that was signed, was given, was actually taking into account the fact that both of these companies would be actually importing coal as from Indonesia at lower prices, and then with the margins that they had, they would then be selling it inside Gujarat. But however, due to a force majeure event where the Indonesian government actually prohibited the exporting of coal from Indonesia below a certain level, these particular projects actually became unviable as far as both of the plants were concerned, both of Tata Power as well as Adani Power was concerned. This matter has been doing the court rounds for quite some time now. Today we are understanding that there could be a revision as far as the PPA is concerned, and in case the revision happens and in case the companies are allowed to go ahead and increase the power prices, it will be viewed as quite significantly a positive for both Tata Power as well as Adani Power.
Right, but Vivek, I just wanted to understand that currently they are loss making and the challenge was to make them break even, right? Not profitable.
Well, that's right, Pankaj. In fact, some of the options that both of the companies were actually contemplating were twofold. Number one, the companies actually said that they're willing to give up operations. They actually were willing to sell it at a token amount of 1 rupee to the Gujarat Power Discom themselves, because they just wanted to get out of the entire operations. But it is unlikely that both Tata Power as well as Adani Power, if they weren't really making some amount of margins from this particular project, it's unlikely that they would actually be looking at it as a viable project that they would actually want to continue operations in. However, PPA agreements which are signed are at fixed tariff plans and decided by the CERC. So what both of the companies would have to do, they would actually have to increase the quality, or they would actually have to improve their operational efficiencies to make the kind of margins that they would intend to make from such projects.
Right, Vivek. Thanks so much.
Vivek, hang in with us. Let's also go across to Rupesh Sankey to get more details on this. Hi Rupesh, good afternoon. Nantara here. Big relief coming in for Tata Power as well as Adani Power, with the Supreme Court ordering the CERC to take a final call on the power purchase agreements within 8 weeks' time. Remember, a lot of these power companies said they were willing to transfer the assets for a token amount of 1 rupee as well. How do you see this really panning out, and will the state government also have to come and play ball, allow electricity tariffs to go up?
Good afternoon. It's a very win-win situation for all the stakeholders, for distribution companies as well as for the generation companies like Tata Power, Adani Power, even for the financial like RECPFC. Why it is a win-win situation is because the state electricity board is buying power at a very high cost. And if you look at the levelized tariff they have signed for these assets is at very low rates. So if there is a NPA kind of the revenue model or pass-through of some partial pass-through of the higher fuel cost, then it's a positive for the developers like Tata Power, because their under recovery is close to 90 paisa per unit, and annually they are reporting close to 1,000 crore of losses every year, and assets have become unviable. So it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders.
That's clearly, visible as far as prices are concerned. Just wanted to do a price check. We can pull up Tata Power, that's up 14% right now. We can pull up Adani Power, that's up close to about 13%. Rupesh, time and again we've got this news flow. Do you think that this time around, now the street will await what sort of a compensatory tariff comes out? What's the next revision that you would look at, whether it's break even, slightly below, or what essentially is the new revision?
I think it might be a break-even kind of thing, no profit, no loss, because these assets is unviable, and state electricity board are buying at the open market very high rate. So maybe it's no profit, no loss, and whatever the losses they have incurred till now, that they have to forego, and it will be for a prospective basis. So maybe we are expecting close to 40-50 paisa kind of pass through at the current cost. So maybe 40-50 paisa kind of tariff relief we can expect. But again, I think there are a lot of NGOs which are very active. So those players will not come into picture, and this time we might see some positive news flows or positive outcome for these players like Adani and Tata Power.
Well, that's right, Rupesh. Rupesh, if you have any sense of the kind of PPA or the kind of pricing that both the PPAs have been signed at, what would be the quantum of the increase in the PPA that would be required? And separately, Rupesh, the other thing that I wanted to ask you is, both Tata Power as well as Adani Power had actually were willing to sell this particular project at a token amount of 1 rupee. So do you think that would still be on the table? Would they be looking to sell their assets? Or if the PPA is revised upwards, or if the tariff plan is revised upwards, do you think both of the companies would be happy to continue running operations by importing coal from Indonesia?
Definitely. If you look at the assets of Adani Power, they have stopped producing sometime back in 6 months back, and Tata Power is continuously running their plant. Both these assets are unviable, and the losses they are reporting is close to 1,000 crores. So I think PPA at some partial pass-through is a win-win situation. I think that will be acceptable for the Tata Power as well as Adani Power also. So even because the assets are very big and they have invested so much capital in that, and it's the big portion in their overall portfolio. So I think they will continue to run these plants even if there is a partial pass-through to the coal cost.
Rupesh, before I let you go, the Supreme Court has ordered that give the findings on the proposed amendments to the power purchase agreements within 8 weeks' time. It has allowed Tata Power and Adani Power, Reliance Power, etc. to make the proposed amendments, but it's also said consumer groups can raise their objections later before the CERC. So yes, while we're seeing major enthusiasm on the stock markets, these stocks surging to the kind of highs in double digits, are they getting ahead of themselves? Because it's also allowed the consumer groups to continue protesting and go with their objections before the CERC. So it's not as if in 8 weeks' time you would, I would imagine, have a finalized power purchase agreement, and that's what it's really going to be.
See, the thing is that if you look at the 50% power is going to the Gujarat State Electricity Board, and they are facing some power crisis, I think. And even if you look at their market price, their buying is more than at 3.5 rupees. So for them, 40-50 paisa is also a win-win situation. Having said that, I think these assets is having 50% they are supplying to some of the major like Gujarat. So for them, I think consumer will not have that kind of negative view, because it is not complete pass-through, but I think it's a no profit, no loss. So, and given the capital costs which are setting up at a very high cost, and then upcoming plants will have high tariffs. So rather going for this new power plant at a high tariff, these assets are available at a very attractive rates. So for them also it's a win-win situation. So I don't think that they will take some negative action on this. I think they will go with this kind of proposal where 40-50 paisa kind of pass-through is acceptable for them.
Right, Rupesh. Thanks so much for taking out time for us, giving us clarity. Of course, this is a developing of course, this is a developing story, and this is something which will, keep getting updated. Just to pull up, Tata Power, I last checked, is up 16%. Don't forget they declared numbers today as well. And you also have Adani Power, which is surging in session right now. If I'm not wrong, even Torrent Power has gone up. Not really sure if they have any plant over there. Taking a break, coming back quickly.